Tier list videos have been around for quite a while on YouTube, and I've been wanting to create my own tier list video. However, it's the 1-year anniversary of Netflix's Carmen Sandiego series. Maybe I could combine both of my needs in one video, but how? Oh, I know! Not enough people talk about the live-action movie Netflix ordered, so let's make it about the characters in the series and how likely it is they will be in the movie. Here's my tier list template, and how it'll work is that S tier means the character will most likely be seen in the movie, and F tier means the character has little to no chance of appearing. Just so we're clear, this is one gigantic prediction video. Nothing's assured. Ready to travel to the series that I consider to be as great as heck once again? Spectacular! Hey, I'm Owen, the fiction fanboy, and this is my Carmen Sandiego live-action movie character prediction tier list. First batch of characters to put on my tier list is the members of Team Carmen. Carmen Sandiego is the main character in the series, so of course she's going to be in the movie, and news has stated that it'll be Gina Rodriguez, the voice actress for the title character in the cartoon, who will be the live-action Carmen. So Carmen is going in S tier. S tier by default, you can say. Player is a child who is known as a white hat hacker, is Carmen's main ally since she first met him during a call in her days of being a Vile Academy student. He is the one who has been giving the most education in the series and is considered to be Carmen's secret weapon. Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things is his voice actor, and while it would be neat for him to be the live-action Player hasn't been in any other media. He's exclusive to the Netflix series. Player has been important to Carmen in the Netflix series, and that alone, so I'll put Player in A tier. Zack is the Bostonian henchman of Carmen, despite the fact that they are good people. He doesn't have a lot of experience in going undercover, and can make mistakes in some findings, although he's good at lying to baddies. He is good at driving, whether it's racing for a better life or helping Carmen get away. One skill he displayed in the series is that he can act as someone else using different accents, like when he had to pretend he was a duke. And unlike Player, Zack has been a character in the entire franchise. Zack is going to be placed upon the S tier. Ivy is the Bostonian henchwoman of Carmen and the older sister of Zack. Along with Carmen and Zack, she steals for good intentions. Ivy is more familiar with world knowledge and is more cautious than Zack, who she tends to get angry with if he says or does something wrong. She is good with boats and wiring and can be seen as a mistress of disguise. She has been backing up for Carmen and her brother that he loves for some time. Okay, Zack was without Ivy in the Lucky Cat caper, but Zack and Ivy are like bread and butter, so Ivy will be next to Zack in the S tier. Shadowsan is a ninja who has mastered thievery, swordsmanship, and origami. At first, he seemed to be someone who is strict and self-tempered, especially when it looks like he hates the protagonist. It wasn't until the end of the first season where he wanted Carmen to leave Vile, and he was the closest thing Carmen had to a father. He was officially on the red side in Season 2, and has revealed more about Carmen's early years throughout the season. While it was surprising to see Shadowsan as a good guy, there still was that plot hole, and those plot lines may be hard to replicate. Thus, he's going in A tier. Next batch of characters for tier list placing is the Acme agents. The chief of Acme is Tamara Fraser, who has only appeared as a hologram for most of the series. The influence for the design of the character is Lynn Thigpen as the chief in the PBS game show. Chief Fraser has been trying to prove that the Vile organization exists, and Carmen was her target for achieving that lifelong goal. She is the one who gives her agents weapons that are only meant for capturing, and is very serious to those she recruits. Honestly, what is an agency without a chief? Let alone, why not Fraser? meaning I should put her at S tier. Chase Devineaux was an agent of Interpol that became an Acme agent. For the course of the entire franchise, he has been wanting to capture Carmen Sandiego to find out who in the world she is, along with where in the world. He was the one man who got the closest to her and has been only caring about having Carmen in his grasp, as he has been irresponsible with Acme's equipment. He could be an obstacle for Carmen with or without Acme, while not necessarily being an antagonist. If I don't hear a Le Femme Rouge from him, I'll call bullcrap. Oh yeah, S tier for Devineaux. Julia Argent is an Interpol turned Acme agent a lot of people like, and for good reasons. She is smarter than Chase and seems to have a soft spot for Carmen, since she doesn't continually accuse Carmen of committing crimes and wanted to go as far as making her an agent of Acme, and that did happen in a different series. Her detective work is impressive, and similarly to Devineaux, she has been the closest to Carmen in person. She understands Carmen more than other Acme agents. She deserves a spot in S tier. Zari is an agent we aren't that familiar with, and that's because she took Devineaux's place as Argent's partner in Season 2. You could tell me that she has been an agent of Acme longer than Devineaux and or Argent. Nevertheless, she doesn't have a huge role in the series. Now that I think about it, she could make a cameo as one of the agents, but nothing more than that. I don't see her working as much as the other two agents I keep bringing up, and for the reason she might be a background character, she'll go in the D tier. The batch of characters that's coming up right away is the Vile faculty. Professor Gunnar Maelstrom is the most commanding of the bunch, and if being a villain in the 1994 series wasn't evil enough for the guy, he is downright sinister as a professor that teaches people how to do a bait-and-switch crime. He seems to have a throne-like room at the end of the opera in the Outback Caper, further proving that Carmen was right about him being creepy. Despite his teachings to his students in psychiatry, he is mainly insane, and without him, there would be no Vile headmaster to be a living face of evil, and he will have to be positioned in the S tier. Coach Brunt is physically the strongest member in the faculty part of the academy. Until Carmen learned the truth, she believed for years that it was Brunt who raised her, and Carmen's altitude sickness did make her hallucinate Brunt. Brunt was literally acting like Carmen's guardian and had a soft spot for her until Carmen Sandiego got rid of Black Sheep. Carmen went up against Brunt twice in the series and came close to dying both times. I am so glad that this coach ain't my physical education teacher. And as for where she'd be on the tier list, it's the same place as Carmen's adoptive father, as she's the adoptive mother. A tier. Dr. Saria Bellum is a mad scientist who is a mistress at inventing, and she multitasks more than the others. When it's her turn in the series to come up with an evil scheme, she assigns an agent or two to follow systems that involves destroying the economy, mind-controlling innocent characters, or using schematics to improve some kind of a super weapon. Carmen hasn't foiled any of Dr. Bellum's plans without help from certain somebodies at certain locations. She's not outright formidable, but someone might go from mad to furious if the scientist's projects go unnoticed, and for her plans, she'll go in B tier. Countess Cleo is an expert on differentiating real valuable objects and useless forged phonies. She is the most fanciest of the group due to her being the one who had the Agents of Vile steal paintings for an auction she hosted at her manor and invited other criminals to her dinner party. She also worked with Dr. Bellum to steal so they could avoid debt and give a spot as a new Vile faculty member to another character I'll get to in a while. She has a good sense of fashion for someone that's into crime. However, she hasn't done as much evil as the aforementioned characters, hinting that she shall stay at C tier. Haber is Cleo's intimate assistant who seems to be a hat person like Carmen. He is kind of a jealous snob, notably towards Zack, who he meets in the Duke of Vermeer caper. As Carmen's hat gets tear-ed, Dash's hat is a tear-er. See the saws that come out of his hat when he throws it and his magnetic pulse. He perhaps could have a worthy challenger for Carmen if he had more than 2 episodes to appear in, but it's not enough for him to easily get him in the live-action movie. Parallel to Countess Cleo, he's gonna see himself in the C tier. Roundabout, a double agent with an influence on British intelligence and able to suggest without speaking, is the newest addition to the staff members of Evildoing. He gets and oversees info that others cannot. Another thing he is capable of is having his eyes on Vile's and Acme's movements for his greater good. The awfully big problem with him is that he didn't appear or contribute to the series until the last 2 episodes, and for that alone, he's joylessly going to be put in F tier. Dexter Wolfe is Carmen's birth father, who has been seen in Shadowsan's flashbacks in the last episode of the series so far. Before turning to the good side, he is a master of stealth and taught that during his time at Vile. He was the perfect pickpocketer and was allowed to be absent due to his superb stealings. One day, the faculty was concerned about Dexter, so they sent Shadowsan to check on him. Dexter had been meaning to start a family this entire time, yet he couldn't because Fraser shot him. Dexter would be something that makes the live-action movie significant, flashback or not. In this way, A tier for the Wolf. And the final batch of characters in this tier list video is the Vile operatives. Cookie Booker serves Vile as the accountant and bookkeeper of the crime-committing Confederation. Rita Moreno is the voice behind the character, as one of her more recognizable works is the title character of the 1994 Carmen Sandiego cartoon. Cookie was the victim of Black Sheep's pranks, the thievery of an important Vile hard drive, a tying-upping, and getting her trademark red clothing stolen for life. Man, the Gina Carmen brilliantly bettered the Rita Carmen. Deep. She later worked alongside Cleo and Bellum to use models to rob, and didn't score. It'd be sick, while also being a bit uncertain for the 2 Carmen voice actresses to be together again, so Cookie goes to A tier in style. Tigress, aka Gina, is the one character that never really liked Carmen at all, classmate or enemy. She was the first student we see ace Shadowsan's final exam, and there was one essential fight between the girls near the end of the first season, Carmen's re-attempt to prove to Vile that she's a terrific thief. The spy wears a special mask that makes her see through anything and tracks targets, has stripes for her costume, and claws for a weapon on her gloves. Tigress was somewhat in the 1994 series, slightly improving her chances of showing up in the film. Costume or contrasting kitty, she's sleeping in the A tier. Le Chevre is all about heights and parkour, and his name is the French way of saying the goat. He yells at people for doing things wrong, like how we feel when other people don't do things right. The man has a partner in crime, who I will talk about after this one, and he did have some care toward his old classmate before Vile knew about the Carmen Sandiego ego. Even though he is surrounded by high tech, the chef prefers to use his own acrobatic skills and tools that are straightforward. The goat is one of the agents that encounter the sheep the most, implying that he can go to B tier. El Topo goes to the ground and travels under it, as his name is the Mole in Spanish. Recall what I said about Le Chevre having a partner in crime in all of his Vile missions? You're looking at him at this very moment. To represent his mole-like skills, he uses streamlined, powerful digging gauntlets to go below the surface. Dissimilar to his comrade, he is a little more funny and a bit less serious, although he wanted no witnesses during his graduation test. always allied with the goat to shear the sheep they used to be colleagues with, he shall be in the B tier. Mime Bomb is a mime while not necessarily being a literal, or maybe even figurative, bomb. He is, though, many other things like quiet, weird, creepy, annoying, and snitchy is a big one since he spied on Carmen, who snuck her way to the graduate's first caper. A mime for a spy isn't the best idea, even the Vile faculty thinks that, and a charade cop scene would be practically ripping off the Detective Pikachu movie. I also don't want it involved in a live-action educational kids movie in any way, since live-action human mime would literally scare all kids. He should be in D tier. Paper Star, an expert origamist, is the most dangerous Vile agent I've seen Carmen face. Her first mission was to steal the Magna Carta and bring Professor Maelstrom, the faculty member who says she's his favorite, Carmen's hat. During her small screen time appearances, we figure out that she's psychotic, daunting, and on nobody's side except her own, as she gave Chevre paper cuts. She kills trees in order to try to kill anyone that stands in her way, and is in all likelihood going to be a lot more violent after getting stuck in glue. Is menacing too much for a live-action adaptation? Maybe not. Averagely. She has a decent chance. C tier. Graham, or you can call him Crackle, will be the final character for me to tackle. In the good old days, he was Carmen's BFF. Those days came to an end and was ordered to bring Carmen to Vile. His punishment for failing was a memory wipe, which made him go back to his electrician career. Carmen wanted to date Graham after an incident at the opera, just didn't want herself to ruin Crackle's chance at a new life. Graham was a useful ally during a mission to infiltrate Bellum's lab in New Zealand, and they do get to date. Friend or foe, Graham or Crackle, I reckon that A tier is a good spot for him. And now it's time to look at the finalized tier list. 7 characters at S tier, including the one that's S tier by default. 7 are at A tier, 3 are in B tier, 3 lie in C tier, 2 rest in D tier, and only 1 is in F tier. I'll leave a link for you guys to see the tier list without the watermark, and if you agree or disagree with the positions of any of these characters as far as whether they'll be in the live-action Carmen Sandiego movie or not, let me know in the comments so I'll get an idea on what your tier list would look like. This was my first tier list video, and to those who worked on Netflix's Carmen Sandiego series and fans of the series, I just want to say, happy 1-year anniversary! Want more fiction? Then please do what my friends say, comment below, and follow me on Instagram for thumbnail previews and teasers for upcoming YouTube videos. Fiction Fanboy has finished this video. Everyone keep fantasizing, and good night-o!